welcome to the Morrisville Borough Council meeting of Monday, October 20th, 2014. Would you please stand for a moment of silent prayer, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Corinne, after Mr. Bates takes the roll call, if you could please introduce our council person.
Dave Rebell. Here. Mr. Sherlock.
Here.
Ed Carter.
Here.
Mr. Cicero. Sidney B. Lake. Jacob Johnson.
Here.
John Chronicle.
Here.
Ed Parker.
He will not be with us this evening.
Todd Sanford.
Here.
Debbie Smith.
She will not be here this evening.
Sean Kilkenny.
Here.
Tom Bates and Ronald Wood.
I want to make you feel comfortable. So where do you want to go?
Well, I just a microphone down there.
Oh, okay.
I know, right? Our junior council person, his name is Nicholas Moran. He is a junior at Morrisville High School. And tonight is his first official council meeting, so please make him feel welcome. And that's it.
Okay. Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Actually, we need to give him a little bit more. Next, before we have the special presentation, I'd just like to make one quick announcement, please. This is a correction. We received a letter from our planning commission, and they said at the last meeting, it was stated the applicant of the fireplace applicant had mentioned that the reason it hadn't been done up to that point was because that the planning commission could not get a quorum, and they really wanted this clarified. And I think it's important that we let the folks know that they weren't able to get a quorum, but that didn't matter about the paperwork because that had not been distributed as of that time. So I just would like everyone to know that we have a very competent, very qualified planning commission, and just didn't want their name disparaged. So I just want to make that statement because there was something in the Courier Times, I understand. So next we actually have a special presentation. Our first is Mr. Peter Bard, who comes to the microphone, and I think he's going to give us some good news. Yes, please.
All right, good news. No, I do have good news. That's great. I'm also not used to the setup. This looks really nice here.
I don't know if the mic's on though. Is the mic on? Our technician is right behind you.
Technician's right behind you.
There you go. Hello? All right. Well, thank you, Bob. All right, that's one thank you out of the way. Thanks, Bob. Hello, Borough Council, Mr. Mayor, and everyone else in the room with us this evening, and apparently in Morrisville and in Bucks County. This looks great. I don't know where it's exactly going, but someone's probably watching. Where is it?
It's international.
Is it really?
Not really.
Now I'm going to be nervous. My name is Peter Gard, and as many of you may know, I'm the president of Friends of Morrisville Dog Park. And it's been a while since I've been up here to talk to you guys, although it's definitely not my first time. I realized the other day it's been over 6 years since I started coming here talking with you, and that's when we started talking about putting a dog park in Morrisville. Now, tonight I'm not just here by myself. Often you get one of us down here representing the park, asking questions, working with you to put this park together and to run this park. Tonight we have a lot of our committee members with us. Is it possible to bring up?
Absolutely.
Can we do it? I don't know how it works. Is that okay? Can I bring them up
The floor is
for a
yours.
little support? All right. I'm just going to bring up Friends of Morrisville Dog Park, and
Give someone with the camera.
can we do? Yeah, we brought a camera just so they. So no, this is great for me because often, you know, we have a singular voice up here, and sometimes it's me talking to you, but it's definitely me being the voice for this group.
Well, you're
Spread out a little.
already in the house, right?
Now, I recognize most of you up there. I don't recognize everybody. So-
The fire department, they would have the.
I just wanna make sure that-
If you want.
I just want to make sure that everybody knows who and what Friends of Morrisville Dog Park is. So I'm just going to give you a really quick summary, for those of you who might not know. We're a group of volunteers from this community, and we typically number about 16 to 21 members, and we're all incredibly active with the park. Although it happened a little bit before this, when we came together, it was in 2009 when we established Friends of Morrisville Dog Park as a 501c3 Pennsylvania nonprofit organization with a distinct mission. And that mission was and still is to enhance community life by offering a safe, clean, friendly, and attractive off-leash space for dogs of all sizes to come with their owners to play, exercise, and socialize free of charge. And since then, with the support of our community, with the support of the Borough and Borough Council, and through incredible fundraising efforts, in June of 2001, Friends of Morrisville Dog Park and the Borough of Morrisville officially opened Morrisville Dog Park. Currently, Friends of Morrisville Dog Park works to operate and maintain the park with the guidance and assistance of Borough Council and Borough staff. So the park's come a long way since we all opened it a few years ago. And to be perfectly honest, there's been a lot of hands helping put this park together. So while we have a moment here, I just wanted to thank some of these people. I'll apologize right now if I miss anybody, because there are so many people who helped out. But I definitely wanted to thank this group you see here, like all of our current members, all of our former members. We've had quite a few people come through here and do an awful lot of work. All of our members, our officers, and even volunteers who have helped us out on fundraising projects and whatnot. And of course, Borough Council for all of your support throughout all this. I know it's been a lengthy process, but we have a park now. We're making improvements. We're currently making improvements. And it's really come a long way, and it's being well used, so thank you. Bob Seward, and I don't want to miss your assistant Lorraine because she's been awesome lately and answering lots of questions and whatnot. And Tom Bates, of course, you're always answering questions for us and helping us out and working down there. And the borough administration staff, all your front people in the office, they've been great. They even field phone calls when the public calls about the park and has questions and whatnot. Also, Public Works, those who mow the park, empty waste cans at the park. They've even dug some holes to plant some trees recently at the park. They provided mulch to keep those trees happy. They've been great. And Ron Sheets for some guidance and answering questions as well. We've had a lot of questions along the way. Then the MEAC, and I don't see anybody here from the MEAC tonight. Is that true? Oh, hi, sorry. How you doing? Good. For all the MEAC, because you guys have been a huge help. And the MEAC, if you're not familiar with them, they really exist to assist the borough with matters dealing with the protection, conservation, management, promotion, and use of the borough's natural resources. And that's exactly where the dog park and that open space property falls. So they definitely had a hand in helping us design that park and figure out what we need to do to keep that park, to keep that piece of land happy, if you will. Police Chief McClay, our new police chief, he's been very good about answering questions for us and keeping everybody safe down there. And then, of course, there's the park users. We've all worked on designing the park, and we do use the parks, most of us. Actually, there's some of us, we all have dogs, right? I think we all have dogs. But some of us actually don't even get down to the park too often. So it's really those daily users who are actually becoming bigger and bigger in number for using the park and really bringing life to the park. Because without those park users and without those dogs using the park, we would just have a park and not a dog park. So we really thanks for all them, and I hope some are listening. I appreciate all the respect you've given to the park. They've been incredibly responsible with the place, and they're really actually helping out in their own way, helping clean it up and whatnot. And then lastly, the Bucks County Open Space Board, and they helped with a grant for some of the upcoming improvements. And with that, I'll talk about the grant just a little bit, because that's the second reason why we're here tonight, and really the big reason why we're here. And again, I don't know what everybody's familiar with, so I'll just be brief, because I know a lot of you have been going through this with us, and you all know exactly what I'm talking about. But for those of you who don't, in 2012, we wrote a grant proposal for a municipal open space program grant through Bucks County Open Space. And these grants, as you may know, have been, they may be given to boroughs for the specific purpose of improving public open space land. The property where the dog park exists is public open space land. Now, working with the Borough of Morrisville, we applied for and received a grant for $45,000, which will help fund a $60,000 improvement project at the park. Now, this is a matching grant, and the borough is required to fund 25% of the project cost, which in this case is $15,000. The grant covers the other 75%, which of course in this case is $45,000, for a total of $60,000 for the project. So we, Friends of Morrisville Dog Park, we're here tonight with the check that we're turning over to the borough in the amount of $15,000 to cover the borough's match to make this, this project possible. So, so yeah, with that, I don't know how we do this. I've never, it's not often that like I'm giving money away. So,
Is your hand shaking?
I'm giving it away. This is kind of, so who do we give it to? What do we do? So we made a big check. This is a big deal for us. This is honestly a lot of money. We hold a lot of fundraisers. We raise a lot of money, and this is exactly what we do it for. We do it to build the park. We're doing it to improve the park. Now we're handing it over to you because we've leveraged that and we got a grant, and now we can do a huge project down there. So we have a big check so we can get a picture, because I just wanted, you know, everyone here to remember that, like, you know, our group that we did this, and this is huge for us. So what do we do here exactly?
Well, you give it to the money man.
The money man. All right.
Put it in the proper account.
Give it to the council president.
Can we do a photo real quick?
We can do all that first. I'm not saying you have to rush up here. He's not.
We did bring the real check also.
Okay, that's good. That's all he wants.
That's all you hear. So that's all that matters.
And then, of course, the big check, if you would mind, we could display that downstairs.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, thanks.
Now we've got you.
Can we get you up here so we can present it to you,
Can we just do like a quick, we can do a quick photo, if that's okay?
or whoever's gonna take the check?
Just me?
Yeah, I was gonna say, this should everyone.
Can you guys all come around behind, is that possible? Thanks. Sorry. Okay. All right, dog park people can come up around here, maybe even on the steps. Yeah, right. I knew we should have had a previous. How to hand over the check. Like the name.
Okay, first one, 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna take a bunch. I hope one works.
His hand was shaking. Shaking. I was, right? Okay, okay.
Are you done?
Yes, our job is done. I'm gonna sit down in just a minute. One last thank you, because really, this has been great. It's been a long process to get here, but it's been really good. And then just a quick update as to what's going on right now with this improvement project. There are some trees in down there that weren't in, weeks ago, and there's some that weren't in months ago. Quite a few trees going in now. We currently have the plumbing portion of this project out to bid. Those bids are coming back in on Thursday, I believe, is the due date for that. And hopefully we'll get some bids so we can get moving on that sooner than later. So, and that's it. We'll keep you posted with everything.
So the fountain project, will that be done before the winter?
That
Or
is the
that
hope.
not till next?
No, that's the hope. The plumbing portion of the project would include, plumbing down there, which does include 2 drinking fountains, which each drinking fountain includes a doggy drinking fountain and a human component to the drinking fountain as well. So with any luck, we'll get some good bids in this week. Everything will go smoothly, and we'll have that before it gets too cold.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thanks again.
Thank you to you. Next this evening, we have another presentation. This gentleman's name is Mike Andrus. He's from We Feed Us, and he has a proposed project for the Cloverleaf property. He's here with Mr. Bob White, who's Director of the Redevelopment Authority of
Good
Bucks
evening,
County.
Council President, Mayor, council members, residents of Bucks County, and Morris. Listen, we're talking about the Cloverleaf property. Maybe some of you don't realize, but several years ago, Cloverleaf restaurant up there became run down and said for a long time. The council came to the Redevelopment Authority and asked us to take care of that blight, which we did. We bought the property, tore it down. Later, there was some apartments there. Now, we've had plenty of people look at this. We've had authors, we've had all kinds of ideas to try out. Actually, we had somebody on the line ready to do something, all of a sudden the bottom fell of the market, so it's set all this time. And I was fortunate enough to meet Mike. Mike, I think he's the CEO, founder of We Feed Us. And you could say We Feed US, but he's a great guy, enthusiastic. I think he has a great idea and something the borough might be interested in. If you are, certainly, I look forward to hearing about it. Mike?
Thank you so much.
And we managed to technically find a way to put it on the screen finally, right?
I think.
I believe so.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Madam President and City Council. Thank you so much. My name is Mike Andrus, founder and CEO of We Feed Us. And the company premise is we feed us so they don't have to, meaning South America, Russian, other countries. So we feed ourselves here in the U.S. So I have a presentation that I present to the Borough Council. This is trademarked, our We Feed Us Sustainable Food for Change Don. Our mission at We Feed Us is to build and operate sustainable, profitable, commercial agriculture innovation centers. We intend to provide a scalable commercial model for our future sustainable food and energy ecosystems. The model connects the growth of sustainable food sources, the community, the environment, and energy solutions for a healthier planet. We integrate the production of fresh organic produce, fish, algae, and renewable energy. So what is the problem? The problem is that there's no more agricultural land on planet Earth, that we don't have any more land to grow any food, and yet in 1950 to 60, there were 3 billion people. In 2014, there's 7 billion people, and in 2050, there'll be 10 billion people. So we need to find out how we feed those folks, so that is the problem. 75% of food cost is driven by transportation and warehousing, and if I asked you where you get your lettuce, you might not know, but it's California and Arizona, or Calexico is the section they call that, and you get your top tilapia from Honduras and South America, and we get our wine from South America, and all these other places. And so what it really is it's time to move the farm. The United Nations is warning of a food crisis because of the extreme unreliable weather. And by the way, I'm a Bucks County native, born and bred here for 53 years, and I remember that winter, we had a winter, we had a spring, we had a summer, and we had a fall. And I can tell you that it was 37 degrees last night, it was 75 2 days ago, it rained the day before that, it almost snowed, and it was 90 before that, and then, you get it. And so what that does is, with the drought, that the food prices are going to be rising, and it could be a potential problem. So I won't go through this, but April 14th, I put this particular piece in the presentation, and it talked about California potentially having an extreme drought. And on April 17th, California caught fire, and there's about 5 million acres on fire, and they are estimating now a tremendously horrible crop year for 3 to 5 to 7 years to come, and our produce prices are going up. In fact, they're going up now. Good that gas has gone down, bad that eggs, milk, lettuce, and beef are going up. So, what is the real problem? Pesticides and herbicides. It's on everything we eat. What is the solution? The solution is, what We Feed Us is able to do, is we're able to provide local food with no dependence on foreign food whatsoever, which will help our national security. No poison. Back. Thank you. The toxic pesticides are higher, 4 times higher in foreign foods than they are here. You probably didn't know that. But they don't check that food when it comes in from Honduras, and the raspberries come in from South America, and the blueberries. We have a facility that we can build here in Morrisville that will give us year-round production. They're scalable, modular plants. They are not geographic specific. And what they are is they're knocking out the 75% of the food cost for transportation, because we want to grow it local and eat it local with 0 food miles. So what is the model? The model is that we are growing fresh, organic food, local with low food miles, using local labor here to Morrisville and our surrounding area, selling it at the institution model to colleges, prisons, school systems, restaurants, large supermarkets, and as a result, it's healthier people, healthier food, healthier planet. So what is the synergy? The Agriculture Innovation Center works very, very well with the community. We have community workers that can be part-time, they can be full-time. We're anticipating 2 shifts, possibly 3, so they can be full-time workers. They can be part-time workers, from greenhouse managers to production managers, down through workers of all different types of particular jobs for planting, seeding, harvesting, algae, produce, and fish. So we have customers lined up. Honeygrow Restaurant, and I've already engaged with Giant, which is owned by a company called Ahold. It's a Netherlands company, $30 billion company. They have 700 supermarkets in 7 states. They currently get their lettuce from California, so they are enthused to be able to get lettuce from within 100 miles. So if we pick the lettuce at 10 o'clock in the morning, and there's a truck driver that comes and picks that lettuce up and drives it 99 miles to Carlisle, that is considered 0 food miles, because they're getting it same day. It's not sitting in a back of a 53-foot truck for 5 to 7 days, air conditioned, to wait till that 53-foot truck fills up and then drives across the country, which is a lot of CO2, a lot of miles, and you get old lettuce. So if you go to the store and you look and it says eat by, you have about 4 to 6 days for lettuce. We also have a purchase order for algae, and I won't go into that, but it's for $6.5 million. And our lettuce production is about 5 million heads of lettuce per year out of this facility. So we're at about a $12 to $15 million pro forma, and the cost to build the facility is $12 million. So if you look at those numbers and say it's $12 million to build, you're making 12 a year to 15. It's a tremendously profitable opportunity. Wholesale market of fish, produce, and lettuce and algae. Institution model, retail packaging, thinking about some organic restaurants, agriculture and consulting, and it's a big destination location where people are going to want to see this. And I will tell you a little about what I've done in the past. So the distribution center here in Morrisville, check this statistic out. From this area right here, within 500 miles, lies 40% of the population of the United States and 60% of the population of Canada. You have Wilmington, that's 60 miles. You have Philadelphia's 31, Baltimore's 128, Washington's 166, and New York is 67. That is all same-day delivery. That's not next day or the day after. So these supermarkets that are committed to organic and sustainable food, they consider this 0 food miles. And they would much rather buy here, FOB, Morrisville, than they would from California. The triple bottom line is that it's profitable, there's no pesticides, there's no herbicides, there's no runoff, there's no drains, we're using everything. It is profitable, we're using 90% less water than in traditional farming, and there's much, much lower CO2. And when you have lettuce or any other row crop and you're throwing that water out there, it's percolating, it's going into the ground, and 90% of it is missing the plants. This lettuce production is hydroponic, which means we're growing it in water. We also have an aquaponic component. I won't get into that, but I'm an expert at that, and I built a facility. So what was the proof of concept that I built? So keep that on. This is a greenhouse that I built in Carlisle, PA, about 2.5 years ago, 6,000 square feet. The same day I built it and started producing lettuce and fish, the Department of Agriculture came in and gave us PA preferred status. If you don't know what that is, that's the highest level that you can get for the best food grown here in Pennsylvania. So that's some Thai basil that I grew from 450-gallon fish tanks. Beautiful Thai basil sold to restaurants, honey grow. They are 500-gallon fish tanks with tilapia, blue and white tilapia. That is a picture of the 6,000 square foot greenhouse with a biosecure room. That is some of my hydroponic and aquaponic lettuce right there, if you take a look at that. And that's what hydroponic lettuce looks like, the very healthy, green, fresh romaine with that root system right there. And we grew a pineapple, just to say we could, and a banana tree, and Thai basil, and Mexican sage, and watercress, and you name it, we grew it. The most profitable plants, by the way, are romaine, because that is really in demand, some Thai basil, and then of course we can do tomatoes. But our performa is organic romaine, and that is in tremendous demand. So let's talk about scalability here in Morrisville. Here's a picture of it. This is not a rendering, this is a real greenhouse from our greenhouse builder, Stuppy, with the beautification out front with the plants. So what are we going to do? The Agriculture Innovation Center is going to have agriculture, aquaculture, algae, research, and possibly an organic cafe. So just to give you a scale, it's 3.5 acres, 167,000 square feet. It's actually 996 by 168 feet. This just gives you an idea of the
Mike,
scale. Yes,
You're referring to property available.
I am indeed.
Those
I have a rendering up there, yes indeed. So this is for the cloverleaf property that we're very interested in. And here is a rendering of the, good segue by the way. So that's the property, and that would just give you an idea of what the greenhouse would look like on the property there. We could rotate it, but wanted to put it in there. So the advantage here is commercial production of algae, aquaculture, and produce, 365 days a year in any climate. We have a rainwater catch system, so there is no storm runoff whatsoever. I know that could be a concern. It's a recirculating hydroponic system, aquaponic. We have an interest in an LED company that makes the lettuce grow that much faster. Algae growth, algae harvesting, and the education model is we can bring interns in as well from local institutions, have them help with research and development, work with grants. We're very knowledgeable with that. They get college credits, we get additional labor, plus our workforce in Morrisville that we want to hire, and then give them the publications, but it helps us for research and development. This is really scientific stuff, and we're way ahead of the curve. So indoor agriculture, indoor aquaculture, and we have experimented with some of these high-value fish rather even than tilapia that's $6 a pound. We have fish like this that can be $15 a pound sold live. So you can sell a quarter of the percentage of it and make 5 times as much. So this is a graph real quick that just shows you that farm-raised fish, that's the incline, and ocean fish are on the decline. This is an indoor algae vertical grow system. Happens to be me. Go ahead. We are ordering 94 of these. And the algae biomass is for pharmaceutical, nutraceutical, eye cream, We have a $6.5 million purchase order for soil amendment, which happens to be the fancy name for fertilizer. And we've already got contacts with the NFL and MLB for them to test our product on their fields, as well as golf courses and other projects that are unbelievable with farms. So local farms would be able to irrigate and fertilize with our organic fertilizer. We are not, Monsanto's not a big fan of what we're doing here, and that's good news. So, so here's a picture of the actual, one of the products that we have a purchase order for, pure algae. And what is the future for us? The future is Bucks County, Pennsylvania. I was born and raised in Holland. I lived in Richboro. I live in Jamison now. I am extremely enthused and excited to do this here in Bucks County where I live and bring jobs. And one of the interesting things that's not on here is we don't want to hire somebody that, sure there's going to be part-time and full-time. We want to hire people and retain them. And as we grow, they can grow with us, because this is the first of many. This isn't just one and we're going to stop. So we could do a lot more in Bucks County, and we could have those folks that grow up and have families and raise their families, and want them to have a job. You know, if you look at 25 years ago, and my dad worked for IBM for 26 years, and he worked for PE before that, so he had 2 jobs in his whole life. Now everybody that's 50 or 60 has had 9 jobs, and I think the number is 14 or 15. My goal and my commitment as the CEO is to employ people and keep them and grow this company, and I've been successful with my other companies as well. So the rollout plan is Bucks County for about 5 million heads of lettuce and other vegetable crops. Phase 2 is national urban locations, and people are already talking about 50 to 100 acre facilities. So we're talking about big scale here. So with one greenhouse, we're looking at about 15 million in revenue or more. That's 3 acres. So if we were to populate that whole 10 acres, it would be a lot more. And then if you look at a 100-acre facility, and 3 of those we're talking about with a B and not an M. It's a big number. And then third is international. We've already gotten a lot of interest internationally, but my commitment as the CEO of an American company is to start it here, grow it here, right in Bucks County where I grew up. So that's where we're starting this thing. So the footprint is retail is to deliver to local restaurants and stores, growing local organic and produce, and creating jobs. The public awareness is it's sustainable growing, it's local growing, it's education and field experience for our children and our workers, and it's an extension of a real farm and jobs. For the Sustainable Innovation Center, we're using hydroponics, aquaponics, vertical algae growth, which is really high tech, and where the future of farming and growing is to create jobs. Too many research opportunities to talk about, but there are many, and I'm familiar with all of them, and we can break that down, but a lot of them are aquaculture and algae and produce and lighting, and just the list goes on, that any local institution that has an ag program, could be Del Val, could be Bucks, would be super enthused to work with us. So the organizational chart is Bucks County World Headquarters, Research and Development. God, you can continue. We have a tremendous advisory board with some of the best subject matter experts on the planet, with Greenhouse Technology, Honey Grove Restaurant in Philadelphia, Director of Sustainability at Messiah, and then some algae folks and some seafood folks as well, and then Matt Feligahese is there in Warminster, the Modern Corporate Event Planners. So the community benefits are local job creation. We're looking at 25 to 50 jobs, and that would be part-time and full-time. Keeping money, jobs, and production in our community. Local education. We have we're thinking about a green meeting place, and I won't go too much into it, but it could be the same thing, where it could be a place on our property that the community could come and have a serene location to meet, or have town meetings, or participate, or just come and relax and enjoy it. We would make that available. And one of the biggies is we would provide PA preferred, fresh organic local produce year round, which is low to 0 food miles. And I can tell you who's interested in that. It's a company called Wegmans. It's a company called Whole Foods. It's a company called Wakefern, which is ShopRite. I mean, McCaffrey's is close by, but we would have too much lettuce for them. So we're talking about companies that are local that we could deliver to. So how great is it for growing the lettuce here in Morrisville and not Southern California and delivering it 100 miles? And we would be able to give them price protection because we're indoors. The weather doesn't matter. Winter, summer, doesn't matter. 365, 2 or 3 shifts, and be able to get that lettuce to them every day. Private food labeling opportunities. I don't think I have as much of an ego as I did maybe when I was younger, but I've had my name on things, and I don't care about that now. So if one of these large companies wanted to private label that lettuce, like Giant, we would be more than thrilled to have that. It doesn't have to have the We Feed Us name on there. That's not what this is all about. It's about getting local production here in Morrisville. Just wanted to give you some statistics. I know the area very well. We're talking about 4.9 million heads of lettuce a year, which is about 408,000 heads of lettuce a month, which is about 94,000 heads of lettuce a week, which is 18,000 heads a day. So when you see this working, and I've had a smaller facility, it's like Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. I mean, there are standard operating procedures from when you walk in and a hairnet and walk through with foot bath and clean your hands, and how you put a seed in and how it gets water through the system, and everything is automated, the whole weather system. So as far as trucking is concerned, for the larger trucks, they hold a maximum of about 80,000 pounds, which is a head of lettuce or romaine is about 3/4 of a pound to a half a pound. So we're talking about 1 or 2 trucks, maybe every 4 or 5 days. So it might be 2 on Tuesdays. That's usually when the produce folks come and pick up on Tuesday, and then maybe 2 on Friday. There would be smaller box trucks, and there may be a few more, but I just wanted to let everybody know, with the calculations, even at this amount, you know, it's not going to do any problem with traffic patterns and clog the roadways. So, again, I'm from Bucks County. I appreciate the opportunity to present to all of you here who live here and City Council. I appreciate the time. This is something very near and dear to us. We would work very hard to make this opportunity happen in the borough here on that location. So I've been out there, we've looked at the plans, and we would work very diligently to make it a reality. And we would like you to support us as well. And I thank you for your time tonight. Thank you.
Some council members might have a couple questions.
Yes, please.
About how long do you think this would take from?
About 4 months from shovel ready to building the system. So it's a really interesting thing. There's a weather station, it's a system called Argus that does the climate control, and another one called DRAM, which is ozone and ionizes everything, water purification. So the systems, they are tremendous subject matter expertise. Stuppy is one of the better, I wouldn't say bigger, but they are big and better companies that build the greenhouse. And it was a good point I wanted to make. Thank you for reminding me. The jobs don't start just when it's all built and we're ready to seed. I've already built a smaller facility, and there are jobs while we're building. So even though the greenhouse builder, Stuppy, will come in with their folks, with their construction trailer because they're a specialty on that, there's a lot of other things that we could employ local people all the way through that building cycle to do. So about 4 months from start to finish to get that production going.
Another question,
Yes, sir.
as far as the, I know you have lighting in the greenhouse,
Yes.
especially off-season. What are the hours you would run the lights?
Well, it's a good question. So the whole system is biosecure, and what it is it's very effective. So there's a company called Keystone LED. We're taking a 50% equity share with them. They've been very, very diligent. We're LED lighting guys, so we would use that lighting not only for algae and the hydroponics, but, I mean, aquaponics, but for the hydroponics. We would use that LED to extend the growing day. So it could be up to 19 hours. I mean, we wouldn't have them running. If there's sun, they're not gonna run. If there's not that much sun, we run them. We are experts at blue, red, nanometers, and then all spectrums are white. So we're doing investigation and R&D right now to get just the right nanometers to grow these plants better. If you look at a seed container from Ashcombs or Burpees, local, and you look at that and it says, hey, giant romaine, 78 days. We got that down to 38 from 78. We feel very confident all day long we can get that under 30 days, which gives us another turn, and we're able to maximize that production at about 5 million. So we would have those. The greenhouse, it's a Bluetooth LED, so that plant site tells us when that light goes on. That's how sophisticated it is. And it gets more sophisticated. The LED lighting, by the way, is very energy efficient, as you know, rather than a 1,000-watt HID that used to have in the hen houses and all that. So I hope that helps with the question.
And one other question might be done. I know up by McCaffrey's, there's people up there with greenhouses. And I know there was an issue with the lights running through the middle of the night and it was foggy. And it kind of made it very difficult to see on the road. There on the road, it's just a haze, a bright haze.
Yes, and I'm very familiar with that, who you're talking about. In fact, I know the consultant that came in from Canada to help them redo their whole system. It's completely different, state-of-the-art, and our lights would not bother any roadway whatsoever. So in fact, it's a brand new housing on the LED lighting. And it's got a 360-degree beam spread for these LEDs rather than, so you can use less LEDs to actually project for more plant space.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We do have fish down there, like the,
We would, so
we talked about?
I can answer this in just a few minutes. There's 36 bays. Each bay is 8 meters, so it's about 26 feet. So if you look at a greenhouse, how you have a high hoop. So just picture 36 of those. 32 of those would be hydroponic lettuce all day long. That's all it is, are 2 raft tanks that are 72 feet by 22.5 feet. And they've got floating trays of lettuce, and they go from their nursery into juveniles, and then into a tray that has 36 heads of lettuce. They get transferred over into 18. And then one of the bays is aquaponics. So I'm an aquaponics expert. I have traveled around the world, spoke about algae, spoke about that. I don't believe that aquaponics is 100% ready for commercialization. So I don't want to risk my money and investors' money and a bank's money by saying, let's do a $12 million project with fish and lettuce because it's cool to do and everybody loves it. We are going to work on the aquaponics, by the way, in one of those bays. And so we would have fish, and so the fish that we have, we're going to work on multiple species of aquaculture. It could be hybrid bluegill, striped bass, largemouth bass, catfish, tilapia. But if we're going to grow them and we're going to sell them, we want to get maximum value out of that. So that aquaponic piece is really, truly an R&D piece. But as a result of the R&D, we can still grow a significant amount of produce, like lettuce, off of that particular bay. And then the other 2 bays are algae, and you saw the algae vertical grow modules, and that's pretty scientific, but trust me, it's a very leading edge and very profitable.
So is this a business that would run basically 24 hours a day?
It could. If we have more purchase orders, then we have to grow. Here's how the algae works. You have 2 separate teams. One team comes in during the day and grows it, and the other team at night harvests it. 2 separate sets of people. So the algae production is day and night, right? And so that's the production on that. Lettuce, we could do a 3rd shift, we just have to see, but it could be 3 shifts, but we think it's probably going to be 2.
And how many people do you think you would employ if God is making you?
I think maximum production, we would be looking around 50. I think we would start at probably around 25 and probably go from our estimations at the Gantt chart, because that's my specialty in talent acquisition for years, is probably start with 25 and then roll into 35, and as we're in full production, we'll probably be closer to 50. And some of those would be full-time, and a lot of them would, some would be part-time, a lot would be full-time, and there would be multiple shifts.
Is there a noise level component to this?
The greenhouse is a traditional greenhouse that has fans and louvers, and it's got a bug screen on one end. It's very sophisticated. Those fans are not on, Madam President, all the time. There's different cool zones, if you will, pool 1, pool 2. So there are 2 fans in each bay, so there's a lot of fans. But if it's hot, one goes on. If it gets to a certain temperature, then the greenhouse says, hey, we need more fans, and they open up. So it's not noisy. It's a greenhouse with fans, but I don't know what the decibel level is, but they're not all going to be on at the same time, and in the winter, very few of them would be on. So more volume of sound in the summer than in the winter for those fans. I think, back on.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right. Does anyone else have any questions?
Thank you so much for your time tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So,
Thank you.
at this time, I guess we should have a little bit of a conversation about where we'd like to proceed. I think in order for this to happen, if you don't want to leave just yet, Mr. White, we would have to make sure that it's zoned correctly for this. And Bob Seward, could you come out for just a second?